All right, welcome back to Rolls Experience Show, 12 Spirit 2 Experience Show. We had a good conversation about what the Eagles are doing, man. I don't know if you heard the news. The Eagles traded up to get Wingo for Georgia, and then traded for DeAndre Swift for Detroit. So our Eagles are not playing this year. They are not playing. They're trying to win the Super Bowl to get Kelsey and Brandon Graham on top, man. But our next guest is someone that I've known social media. Yeah. He's more of a speaker, consultant. He has his own family. He has a great story to tell. He's a WCU alum.
Yes, sir.
Russell University School of Champions. I think you know my wife.
Yep.
Fatima.
So I went to Westchester around at the same time that your wife was there, but my wife, Brittany, knows your wife pretty well, and I know that she's actually been to your wife to get her hair done. I think they just talking. She has an appointment with her coming out or something too. So,
So this is Ismail Amir. Yes, so I also saw you do work with OCF.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we do training. So I think I saw one of your trainers.
Yeah, man. It's a small world in the sense too that.
How did you get over that?
Exactly. It all comes back to Westchester.
Wow.
It all comes back to Westchester. I was in Westchester from 2006 to 2011. And during my time there, you network, you meet people, you have fun with people. And Samantha Saldana went to Westchester. She's a member of Chi Epsilon Sigma. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi. So she crossed a little bit before I did. So met her. Formed a friendship with her.
Right.
And then a couple years ago, actually a little over a year ago, I was just sharing out to my social media platforms, the work that I was doing and getting into full time. And she reached out because at the time she was, I'm blanking on her official title, but she worked for the Office of Children and Families. And said, hey, let's connect, let's get on a call. Some of your programming I think could be good for the staff and good for the students. And from there, I've been just blessed to be able to connect and meet educators in the city of Philly and lead some student workshops as well. So
that's wonderful, man. Because anybody know I don't know you met Madeline Henderson.
No, I don't think so.
I work at OCS, so I've been working about the past 4 or 5 years with different companies. So I'm a site director at Moffitt. So I saw your training. I was like, oh, I know Fernie, I know Abria, I know half the people on there. I know Marissa, a lot of people that. I saw you I was like, you doing a workshop? I was like, oh my god. So I think that's how you know people and So let's get to your story. So you are. You overcame a lot. So you overcame, you lost your parents at 11, prior to 11. So what was that experience like, losing both of your parents as you was developing to yourself to kind of get to your own name? So what was the experience like?
Obviously the beautiful thing about life is when you're able to gain perspective and, get to a place where you can look back on your life and appreciate the experiences that you've had, for what they've taught you and what they've given you. And for me, so for as long as I can remember, right, I was born in 89. My mom was sick from the time I was born.
Oh, wow.
In fact, she had actually been instructed or directed to not have any more children after my brother. I have an older brother who's 6 years older than me.
Okay.
My mom was dealing with kidney issues, ultimately kidney failure. She, was on dialysis for years. And in addition to that, she actually suffered from mental health issues, suicidal ideations, things like that. And, had been institutionalized a couple different times, throughout my life. So ultimately, long story short, she actually passed away experiencing a heart attack, and I'm actually the one, along with my brother, that actually found her the morning she passed away. So that occurred when I was 5. Yeah, that occurred when I was 5. My father was, I was blessed to have both of my parents in my life. So when my mother passed away, they were married. My mother passed away. My father stepped up. and continue to raise us, like he had already been doing. But that was his high school sweetheart, and they had been tethered forever. She was a teacher actually in the city of Philly. She was an educator. But fast forward, my father struggled with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes, and he passed away 1 week after my 11th birthday. He was on his way home from work at night, and he suffered a massive heart attack while waiting at the train station to come home from work. So when he passed, my stepmom at the time, she took over. She raised me. My brother was 17, getting ready to go to college. So he went away to college. I spent the next 5-6 years at home. And at the time, man, my outlet, right, like I did my best to run away from those feelings, right? I didn't want to think about, I didn't want to talk about any of that. I mean, I didn't want to talk about any of that stuff. Quite honestly, I didn't even tell my friend, like people that I made friends with, like they didn't know my story. I never talked about my story all throughout high school and even into college when I got to Westchester.
What?
Yeah, it was something that, like, I think in hindsight, I never wanted people to feel sorry for me. Like, I never wanted pity from people. So me talking about that, me sharing that, I felt like people were going to look at me like and feel bad for me. And that's just something that I didn't want, you know what I mean? But fast forward, as I got to a point where I started wanting to be a husband and to have a family of my own, when you start thinking about those things, you can't help but think about your past and the things that you've been through. So I got to a point where God really started wrestling with me in the sense of like, yo, you got to turn around. You got to face this. You got to embrace this. And in turn, it really I found my purpose, right? My purpose has been to turn around and to open up and to share my testimony, to share my story. Because there's so many people out here that are experiencing loss and experiencing trauma, and mental health is real, bro. Like, I would be lying if I sat here today and said I'm unaffected, I'm not fazed by, the trauma and the loss that I've been through. But I understand the power of being able to open up and talk about it and to connect and to share experiences with people. And I mean, that's it. That's what it's about for me now, is like, how many people do I have the ability to be of impact and to add value to their lives through my testimony.
So how'd you get through the youth, the teenage years, like when Father's Day come around, Mother's Day come around, graduations come around? How'd you get through that? You say you didn't talk. How'd you deal with that? Just saying, not talking about it. How'd you get through those days? Like,
yeah, man, that's a great question. And for me, it literally was like, it sounds simple, but there's more to it, of course, but I literally did my best to not ever think about it. So what that meant was that I found other things, right? And a lot of it for me was throughout my, right, because this happened at 11, was when, both my birth parents were gone. For me, it became all about, like, I wanted to have as many friends as possible. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be cool, all of that kind of stuff. And, the older I got, my teenage years, 16, 17, it was like I started drinking around like 17, but at that age, it wasn't like I'm drinking all the time or that kind of stuff. But like, that was my way of like coping with my emotions. It was like, yo, I'm going to be the class clown. I'm going to be funny. I'm going to be popular. I'm going to be all of these things. And for me, like, that was where my focus went during those years. So on those occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, stuff like that, like, it was out of sight, out of mind for me. Wow. But there's only but so long that you can operate that way before. And for me, it really was in my late 20s when I got serious about relationship, right? Like, as I proposed into my wife, and big thing for me is I always knew that I wanted to be a father. Always knew that. So when I started preparing myself mentally, he started dealing with me and preparing me mentally, and I had no choice but to really start facing those feelings and facing those emotions.
Do you know the first time when you shared with someone about your journey?
I mean, for sure.
After you got comfortable, you're like ready. You know the first time you shared it? Yeah,
I remember I had started going back to Westchester, we were just talking about this. Westchester did the Brothers of Excellence Conference.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I had my homie used to be the assistant director. He was associate director up there for the Multicultural Center, Hyro.
Yeah.
That's a good. He's a good friend of mine. So he actually, when he told me that they were doing a conference, I had a group of friends from Westchester, and he was like, "Yo, y'all as a group, like y'all should come up here and facilitate a workshop." And at first, I was like, "Oh, like I don't know about that." But it was like 4 or 5 of us, and we were like, "You know what? We're gonna do it." And when I got up there, and it was 4 or 5 of us, facilitating this workshop. And when I got up there and I was in that environment, in that space with these young black men, I didn't come in there with the intent of sharing my story, but the environment was right. And I felt, I felt to be like, yo, your story's needed, your voice is needed, your story's needed. Yeah. So sharing that story up there, that was a spark for me, because it was from then on, after we did that workshop, as like 4 or 5 of us, where I was like, yo, you not only can you do this, facilitate these workshops and lead these conversations by yourself, like you're supposed to be doing this. So that was the first time that I can remember. And then from there, I worked for Apple for 10 years. And I was blessed where, I grew a lot. I had the opportunity to advance within the ranks of Apple, ultimately, leading teams and being a manager and helping Apple in a lot of different ways. But it was the young black men and women that I felt most connected to, and Apple's super diverse. We got people of all walks of life. But I felt like, there's people that I feel connected to that look like me, and my ability to share with them, right? God giving me a story to share that I had been reluctant to share for a long time. And it was like, no, start sharing this story.
So that's you two saying a story, and then that's you. How's it get involved? How did that lead to you doing your program that you're doing now for young men?
Yeah. So like I said, I was at Apple. I worked there for 10 years. But it was also the hours, right? Like I was working retail hours, I was working weekends, and it was I enjoyed the people side of things, the training, the development, helping people, playing out how to accomplish their goals and grow within the company and grow personally. But all of this is happening around the time that my son was born in 2019. My son Jace, he's 4 now, right? And then 2020 hit and COVID, right? And it's crazy when I look back on this. COVID hit and I'm working retail, and I lie to you not that we shut our stores down and I was working more from home than I was in the store. And I'm like, yo, this is I work a retail job. How am I at home working? Right? Like it didn't make any sense to me. Wow. So COVID was COVID. We was all isolated. We was all at home. Yeah. So this is March. The stores opened back up, and I want to say May or June.
Oh wow.
So then you got COVID protocols and social distancing and all of this kind of stuff. Then, right, fast forward to December, my wife is like, "Oh, we pregnant again."
Wow.
And you know what? I left something huge out of that. Excuse me. My son was born in January 2019.
Right.
My wife's grandmother, who raised her, who's like her mother, got diagnosed with bladder cancer in March of 2019. So my wife is at home with our son Jace and her grandmother, and I'm going to work, of course, right? Because I gotta work. But it was also just like, yo, your wife and your family need you to have more consistency in your schedule, right? Like working in retail is retail, so you never have a set schedule. You're working crazy hours, this, that, and the third. And again, it's all a perfect storm, and it's all God's timing and the way that He plans everything. But at the same time that I'm working at Apple, I'm also facilitating more workshops up at Westchester. I had one of my good friends worked at for the Center for Male Engagement at CCP.
Oh, Eric Westbrook?
No, my homie, his name was Patrick Robinson.
Okay.
He's not there anymore.
Okay.
But he, was like, yo, what you're doing at Westchester, these workshops, I know that you feel called to this type of work. You should come talk to our young men as we're onboarding incoming freshmen that are stepping into CCP. So I'm doing that a couple of times, and I'm like, this is my calling. This is the purpose work.
Right.
So all this is lining up, and then unfortunately, April 1st, 2020, my wife's grandmother passed away. And then in December of 2020, we find out we're pregnant with my daughter. And it's like, okay, so now you're getting ready to have 2 little ones, and there's no way that you can continue to work these hours that you're working. So around the time my daughter was born, you know, I'm praying heavily on it. I'm seeking direction because, again, I'm feeling way less fulfilled at work than I had ever felt.
Why? Because there's more hours at home.
More hours at home, but also like just I felt like not the culture of the company, but my responsibilities within the company as a manager were shifting and changing. And it was becoming crystal clear to me that my passion and my calling was for people, right? The people side, the development side, the training side, all of that, the emotional intelligence side, and ultimately that's what I do now. But it was like, that was only a percentage of the pie of my responsibilities.
Right.
And it was just like, I felt God telling me like, yo, you are called to be out here connecting, speaking, engaging, encouraging youth, but people are people in general. Right. So ultimately I took that leap of faith and I left Apple in November of 2021. And have not turned back. So, you know, having opportunities to speak at different schools, to connect with students. We had a lot of it comes back to Westchester. We have a friend that worked at Tech Frieri. Her name is Alexandra Bradley. You probably know Michael Bradley, photographer. Michael Bradley, his wife is Alexandra Bradley. She worked at Tech Frieri as their director of after school programming, and reached out to me and said, yo, she just saw my what I share, what I'm about ultimately. And she was like, yo, would you be interested in running a mentor program? And I'm like, absolutely, I would. So, you know, that's how that started. And I've been running that program since October of this past year. Not too long. You know, it's been a couple of months. But in addition to that, I work a part-time gig with a group. There's 3 of us speakers that we go to different schools and talk to kids about how to build and maintain healthy relationships. So I've been doing that.
What was that?
So this is a group. They are a pregnancy care center. They're called Amnion. They're based out of Upper Darby. Okay. But one of their subsections or ministries, if you will, is focusing on going into schools just to educate and talk to kids about, obviously, the romantic side, you know, of romantic relationships, but also as a whole, how do we build and maintain healthy relationships in general? And, you know, like that's been super dope. We've been to dozens of schools this school year alone. Talked to, I think it's close to 2,000 students we've talked to. And man, I'm so grateful that God has blessed me to place me in this position. And I'm excited for what's in store, for how God continues to guide my steps, and ultimately just trying to be of value and helping our people.
Yeah, you definitely are doing that. So my question is, so you said why is mental health so important to Black men? Because it's so, you spoke about it earlier before we came on, the importance of mental health. Because it's always been important, you go to George Floyd, 2020, that was the breaking point. That was okay, we need to make changes because a lot of times mental health was so taboo with people, but now it's like, it's essential, it's vital, especially for us Black men who are married. Because because a lot of people don't see that. So can you speak about that?
Man. Again, right? Like, thank God for perspective, right? Because when we're in the middle of the storm, it's very difficult to see, obviously, the other side. So difficult to see the other side. So the reason why I say, right, thank God for perspective is like, I was just talking to homie about this yesterday, like, it's crazy to believe that COVID happened 3 years ago at this point.
I know. It's like,
right? Like, it doesn't feel like,
I feel like 3 years, like even yesterday.
But right, right? Like, when I look back on COVID and when I think about mental health, absolutely everybody was struggling with mental health, specifically right during 2020, because it was magnified. Right. Everybody was isolated. Everybody was alone. And then we witnessed live on the internet, somebody, a white police officer, put their knee on a black man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And we saw the life leave his body. Yep. So we all experienced trauma. Yep. No doubt about it. We all experienced trauma in witnessing that. Right. So it's like, for me, right, it's like, we got to recognize that every single person walking God's green earth has experienced trauma. Yep. Every single person.
All of us like on my own story. And you talk about 2020, and I remember something weird. I remember the first day, the owner, David Stone died. David Stern. Then Kobe died. That was shocking to me. I think that was kind of laid off. I was like, Kobe? No, man. Like,
that was tough, bro.
That was tough.
And that was 2020.
Right.
That was January 26th.
That's Sunday before Super Bowl.
Right before Super Bowl.
That was the first Super Bowl I didn't care about. I didn't care about
Wow.
It was Kobe so it affected everyone. Kobe affected everybody. It affected everybody knew he was. Like, then he had to shut down. We had to shut down. I remember the day before we shut down, it was 70 degrees outside. The kids went outside, played, had a good time. Think about, we're going to be home, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Right. And they kept saying, if we have 2 weeks of social distancing, the world will open back up.
Then we shut down. I was like, okay, cool. And then I met my wife on Facebook. I felt like...
In 2020?
Yeah.
I love it.
So I met on Facebook. It was March 25th. I was watching Married Children. I was home. I met her. I'm not thinking marriage. I'm thinking, a new friend. I finally, that week, saw the movie Leo Me. I finally saw the movie. Okay. I finally saw that movie. Yeah. I saw parts of it, but I never saw the beginning because, Vince Wright was showing classic movies. I finally saw it. I posted it. I got ripped to shreds, man. Like, oh, he did a black car. I'm like, I was like, yo, in the school, they was like, they got personal. I was like, okay, this is enough. So then I met my wife a couple days later. I figured like we was gonna meet. Okay, we ain't gonna meet. So I'm like, let's try to be friends. And then we met. I actually met her during the draft night, 2020.
Wow.
I remember I went to my house. The draft was on. Everybody was home. Then we started talking, and then George Floyd happened. It was crazy, man. And then I remember they had the Jordan documentary.
The Last Dance.
Right. So they moved it up before it was that July. Yeah. They moved it became they don't want to go anything. So they came on. Then I think the last one was done that Sunday. Then George Floyd happened. That Tuesday morning. That Tuesday. Yeah. Well, it was like, and you got. I think it was Monday. That other day was some happened lady, a dog in New York. It was talking some guy. Yeah. They were talking about that. Like they was like, then someone saw the video. I was like, George Floyd. I'm like, no, this ain't. Then I remember I was watching Skip and Shannon. They brought it up on their second block. They brought it up. The only first show they brought it up. Yeah. I was like, so George Floyd was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. Then all the stuff happened. They down. All the kids. It was like people were home 2 months. But COVID was over. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. So they had the looting and us like that. And then I remember here I was that weekend. I remember one friend was doing a Ronnie Art Museum. I was like, all right, cool. Came home. I was like, damn, see you about with the film. I'm like, what in the world? So, but it took a lot of mental health, mentally, because you had to find out who you were, were you doing God's work? You know what I mean? Were you saying who you were? Yeah. And it's like, especially a black man, that you felt targeted, like, damn, and then I feel about Connor Kelly was right the whole damn time. I'm like, wait, like police brutality. He said it 4 years ago. He was right the whole time. I'm like, did you see a lot of time a man being murdered and like that everybody talking about, everybody getting most, and then every show now is about mental health. It's like every show now that was showing like reality shows, like certain cities that they changed the whole thing to talk about mental health. Yeah. Before they wasn't talking about mental health, but now it's like you have certain seasons. This person deal with mental health. This one doing PTSD. It's like now mental health has been focused on our community now. So it's like black men and before the COVID, we was doing mental health in workshops for fourth graders. So mental health, like, hey, what's mental health to y'all? Like, a lot of these kids knew about. I'm like, blew my mind. I was like, they just had a conversation. Mental health was like, these kids know them. They know what's going on. They know
That's
how.
Good, man.
So it's apparent that as men, as women, we gotta get help. Yeah. And then I remember me and my wife I proposed with my wife on New Year's Day. New Year's Day, and my life coach at the time saw the video, and she was like, she want to work with y'all. She want to work with us. It was like I posted to Jane first. She contacted me that Monday at the proposal, saying, let's do some workshops. Wow. So we went because I kind of knew her before because I did a course service together that summer 2020, but it was a lot going on, man. So it was like, then I got married in 2021. My mom retired with CP 2021. She went CP 25 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So after I got married, moved out, she retired. She was like, I'm done. So she was like, and then my first year of marriage was like horrible. It was like mentally I had to get some help. Because all the traumas I thought was done with, it came back. How I get some help. So like, I've been on this mission to try to help black men, who are married, black women, just how to find their purpose. Know that they can win. Yeah. That's it. I mean, I'm not trying to hear. I just want the job to win. Yeah. And like now so many things. Also, people are scamming people about this. Take this for $195. I'm like, it's like overload. I'm like, damn. Like people so desperate to get people. I'm like, but now I'm on this path now, just trying to be a better human being. Yeah. Because so much going on, man. Just trying to be a better self because I went through a lot before, like this past 3 months. Like, I got laid off on my job week of Thanksgiving. Week of Thanksgiving. I did tell my wife, I ain't to my wife, because I didn't want to tell her in the road that I was on a plane, I was going to get a job. Got hired December 12th. Got laid off Valentine's Day. Oh. 2 days after Super Bowl. So, and he was lost.
Oh, it can't get no worse than that.
Man, my wife just left to do her hair full time. Yeah. She left September because her job was toxic. She'd been there 7 years, and I got to the point she was miserable. I'm like, she work from home. She work 8 o'clock. She get up 7:55. I'm like, that this doesn't make no sense. I'm like, so I lost my job Valentine's Day. So I had another job lined up for this other program, and God told me don't go there, don't go here. So I would come here, get some work, do some work, panic. I would do some. This is about what I did. I did DoorDash on the side, but I would come here like in the morning do some work. I interviewed my job. Interview. I said Wednesday. They called me. I was like, come in Thursday. I came in Thursday. I had nothing else to do, so got dressed. They didn't tell my wife. Like, they didn't tell her. Got an interview. Did well. Did well. That Friday, I'm doing DoorDash. I was in Chester at the delivery. The lady called me and said, we hired you to position. I'm like, what? So I was like, I have my cleanse on, man. I got a new cleanse on. Like, how fast can I start? So I started actually March 8th. So I started March 8th, and so I was trying to start. I was cleansing together. I was like, look, and it's like that other job. I was like, someone's told me to work there. Yeah. So sometimes now I'm here. I'm at school with a black male principal that supports me, and
that's love.
Yeah, and then I'm kind of great. I mean, different schools, my friends doing it. I don't got to be there anymore. So now I'm passing the time to people, So I'm trying to get more contracts, so I can get people out of their jobs so they can do part-time, do the other thing they love to do the rest of the day. So, like I said, mental health is essential, and I'm trying to, bring men together. And
I love that.
Yeah, just in a positive way because, just that dialogue knowing that you are supported because, I lost my dad, I was 3 years old, so I didn't have anyone to talk to high school and middle school, get through that, have that group. That's why, and also for married men, because when you get married, it's like you sometimes you by yourself, damn, I can't, the woman can get together anytime, hey, let's get together, blah blah blah. Man, it's hard. It's hard to get together and hang out. We're gonna get 5 minutes, 5 minutes. We God, it's so. But that's why I'm trying. That's why I started Man Talk because I saw the value of men just need to hear from another man, especially when you're married, especially your relationship, because you go for a lot of changes and a lot of things that you got to undo, especially as a man, and now you're doing new roles and experiencing things that you didn't experience growing up. It's a big deal. That's why I thank God that we got to constantly do a Man Talk because, in our schools, because our young boys need that, man. I was glad that I was younger.
Yeah.
So it's so important that we have people like you out here doing the work that you're doing because our young people need us, man. Yeah. And more than that, especially in the classroom, man. Not in the classroom, but now in the community lead programming and being the face of after-school programming. Now it's they need to see that. So that's why
I love what you said about, our young people needing us. I think what they really need, in addition to that, is just to see us, black men, be vulnerable.
Right.
And to share that, every single one of us experiences and deals with mental health issues. Every single person.
And one of my shows I watched is on Bel Air, the Carlton. And I know a stream from the original. I know I know that, but also I watched Abbott Elementary, my favorite show last 10 years with the guy Greg, Chris, the teacher. I'm like, if we can get this boy to come here to speak to black men, oh my God, the way he came and taught, his character is I love it. They feel for Janine. I was I love it down there. His vulnerability is I think just let's have those space and opportunity to share because I think mental health is always been now the one issue in our community. I know gun violence and stuff like that, but now mental health affects everything you do, affects your decision making. Because you would not shoot someone, your mental health was not straight. You know what I mean? And some of your minds, like something's going on, that gets to that point. If you address your mental health while you're younger, I think the decision will be better. Yeah. Because it's not saying that you're bad. It just wants you to also want to do better.
Yeah, we have to be taught from a young age emotional intelligence because we've been taught forever as young black men, you're not supposed to feel. You're not supposed to acknowledge them. So then we don't acknowledge them, but you shake up a soda, eventually that drum won't pop. Mm-hmm. And we suppress our feelings, we suppress our feelings, we suppress our feelings, we suppress our feelings. Something happens, and it's not even that thing. It's not even what that person said to us. It's not even what that person did to us. That is a trigger that reminds us of the past trauma, the past times that we've experienced those particular feelings, and then we snap, right? And then we fight and we take in a life. We aren't thinking through our emotions, and then we're just acting without thinking, and that's what's happening. And like you said, it all comes back, it ties directly into mental health because we have been programmed wrong to think that we're not supposed to feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes us human. You're supposed to feel. I mean, that's why we got to reverse this training. So, couple more questions before we got. So, What do you do with self-care?
Yeah.
So see, you do a lot.
Nah, so I can always like we can all always be better, and I thank God that God has opened my eyes to self-care, to mental health, to emotional intelligence, where I think, and right, this is ways that I coped with my past trauma. I shared earlier that I never used to talk about, the loss of my parents and any of that kind of stuff. But fast forward to today, it's as simple, right? Ways that I practice self-care is, man, I've been trying to be so much better with getting outside. It's something about nature. It's something about hearing running water. It's something about the trees. It's something about the leaves that serves as a reset. So being outside, journaling is something I used to think was so corny and only that's a diary and only girls. And bro, like, you take time, and they also say that it's something about actually putting pen to paper that's so much more beneficial for your mind and for your being and for your spirit than the amount of technology that we rely on when we're typing on keyboards, when we're typing on our iPhone. So just taking the time to put pen to paper, practicing gratitude, like, and again, I'm nowhere near as good at these things when it comes to practicing them as I can be, but like when I write, I am grateful for, or I am thankful for in the morning time, and just write that stuff out, man. It helps set the tone for the day. So those are ways. And then in addition to that, like just acknowledging that I have feelings, like being better at talking about them. I've been married, Brittany and I have been married it'll be 7 years in September. We've known each other for 15 years at this point.
Wow.
But right, like I met her when I was 19, and I share this with people too. It's like, I still have, I've known her for 15 years, but I still have 19 years of programming from prior to me meeting her and I tell her this regularly, is that I'm so used to feeling alone that at times I can still be operating as if I'm alone. So I don't open up, I don't share, I don't talk, I'm not as vulnerable with her because I'm used in my head. I'm like, nah, bro, like it's been you for all of these years. It's still just you at times. So even just trying to get better at being more open and sharing what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, that goes a long way as well when it comes to self-care. And it ain't easy, man. Self-care ain't easy, but it's so important. And I want to be better at it. I want everybody that I come in contact to be better at it. So I'm thankful for you, man. Like the work that you're doing with Man Talk and being in schools and after school programs and this podcast, like, you're doing the work, bro. You're doing it, and it's noticed.
So, are you an author?
I know, bro. So like, I have been in process of writing this book for a while now. So when asked am I an author, the answer is yes, but I'm not yet a published author.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, when I tell you, like, the book is it's together. The book is there, right? I'm just stuck when it comes to like the editing and the formatting. Like I want it to be as impactful as possible, and I'm such an overthinker. That my goal, and I'm going to speak it on this podcast. The book will be out sometime in the fall of 2023. I'm claiming that. So I'm gonna chop this. We're gonna chop this clip, and I'm gonna have to play it on repeat because I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out.
Okay, all right. Okay. I thought you were. That's why I was thinking in mind you had a book out already. That's why.
Not yet. So
where people can find more information about you, your services, and your speaking engagement, things like that.
Yeah. So my website is about a week to 2 weeks away from being completely done. So I obviously can't share the link to that right now, but social media, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, I am on TikTok, but it's at IAM Speaks 23. And then Facebook is my name, Ismail Amir. LinkedIn is my name, Ismail Amir. And then you can shoot me an email as well. Same thing, IamSpeaks23 @gmail.com. Man, I would just love to be connected to as many people as possible, so that I can learn, build, connect with, as well as share and serve and be a resource. So please hit me up, shoot me, follow, a DM, an email, whatever it is.
All right, and my last question. What advice would you say to young Ismail?
Ha! So it's so much. I could probably go on a rant. But in short, I would say young advice to young Ismail is to know that your purpose is literally inside of the things that you have been neglecting or running from or not wanting to feel, not wanting to experience. That would be the biggest piece of advice is don't be afraid to be vulnerable, because that's actually your superpower. I think that would be the biggest piece of advice that I would give myself.
Well, like closing like that, Ismail and Amir, it's been a pleasure meeting you, getting more in depth with you. We've been connected for a while, but now just had this conversation in person. Thank you for being what you're doing. Thank you for being the man that you are. That's overcame a lot to where you are today. You use it as strength to overcome. Thank you for just being the person you are, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And for those who are watching, please watch it. Let's hold them accountable for that book.
Got to.
And then hopefully we can be part of Man Talk that Sunday. Yeah. We can get some plans in place for that. So let's enjoy what's this Saturday. Let's stay together. Be blessed, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of Saturday. Continue to be great because you already are.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for this.
You're welcome. Definitely welcome.